We've got a bit of a unique show planned out for you guys today where I'm going to give out some predictions and superlatives to all 4 AFC West teams. Now, make sure you stick around to the very end of the video for the Broncos superlative because it also has some really good just overall trivia and kind of fun facts that I did not know. But before we get to the first one, who do you guys think will finish last in the AFC West this year? Going to go with Denver, Chargers, Kansas City, or the Raiders? For me, I would be typing LV for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think I've given this prediction like 3 or 4 straight seasons in a row, and credit to them. They keep defying my win season total projections, but this year I'm confident the Raiders finish in the cellar of the AFC West. But without further ado, let's jump into our first superlative, which is most likely to be conducting a head coach and quarterback search in 2025, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Mark me down as a non-believer in the 2024 Raiders. I feel like this franchise overcorrected in their Antonio Pierce hire, who, yes, definitely had some really impressive wins like Christmas Day in Kansas City, turned that locker room around real fast. But to me, that hire, I feel like, was not just partially, but largely fueled by guys like Max Crosby and other leaders of the team going, we want Antonio Pierce. We don't want another Josh McDaniels type of New England control freak. And so the Raiders ownership decided, all right, we went with our kind of pick the last time in Josh McDaniels. Now we'll go with the players type selection. And I don't think this is going to end very well. So for me, I'm not a believer in the Antonio Pierce-led Las Vegas Raiders era. That paired with the quarterback room for Las Vegas, I mean, it's not like the Broncos can talk a lot of smack. They've got a rookie and Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson leading the way. But the Raiders may not be far behind, if at all. Like Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, Anthony Brown. Like, this is the crew we're working with here. It's not great. And that's why I think they're going to be looking for a new head coach and a new quarterback. Now, Gardner Minshew, in my opinion, is a lot better than you probably realize. Like, he is the poster child of do a blind quarterback resume on Twitter and be shocked that Gardner Minshew did better than your favorite quarterback. Aiden O'Connell, I mean, for starters, I feel like he is beyond playing with house money. And the fact that even though he played mediocre at best last year, which, listen, for being a day 3 draft pick, the expectations and bar should not be very high. To him, for what we saw last year, for him to still be in contention to be the starting quarterback next year, it just goes to show that the Raiders didn't have the ammunition in the draft or free agency to go get their desired quarterback. And so they went with what most teams have to do most off seasons when searching for a quarterback. Go with the best option. May not be a great one, but Gardner Minshew was the best option. So for me, I feel like this is going to be a team that's blowing it up after 2024. My 2025 predictions for Las Vegas, just going to go out way too early and say they get Ben Johnson as a head coach. His time as the OC in Detroit finally expires, and he decides, all right, now I'm ready to graduate to the head coaching ranks. And then Buffs fans are not going to like this, but Shedeur Sanders, he just screams Raiders to me. One, I feel like the Sanders family is going to have a short list of teams they'll be okay with their sons playing for, and the Raiders always seem to be popping up on these lists of teams that players are willing to go to because they want to go live in Las Vegas. Let's be real. They want to live in a state with no tax, with no state income, and they want to go live in the Sin City. So I could easily see Shedeur Sanders kind of still having a black uniform in 2025 like he has with Colorado in 2024. Now, before we look at my next 3 superlatives, I do want to remind you guys about our subscriber battle we've been doing all May long. We are leading the Raiders Report and the Chiefs Report here at Chat Sports. Now, we don't have a Chargers channel just yet. We're still growing as a company, and that may be one of the last channels we add. But regardless, if you want to make sure we come out on top for the month of May in subscribers, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. The next superlative, most likely to the Kansas City Chiefs finally have their poor wide receiver play catch up to them. It's no secret that the Chiefs have been flying close to the sun with average-ish, and that's being generous, wide receivers. But I finally feel like this is the season where it all sort of comes back to bite them in the derriere. I mean, for starters, they're having lots of issues off the field before the season even gets underway with Rashee Rice, which it's hard to say how much time Rashee Rice could miss, if any at all, for his legal issues off the field. But I'm going to assume he's going to miss a good chunk of the 2024 season. I'm not very high in Xavier Worthy. Of course, when Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, you can see what that does to guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, who had his career saved thanks to Patrick Mahomes and got a nice payday from the New England Patriots. Now, they did add Marquise Brown in free agency, and Brown has never been, I feel like, as good as a receiver as maybe how popular his name is. He's only gone over 1,000 yards once in his career, and he barely got over 1,000 yards, 1,008 yards, I think it was, in 2021 with the Ravens. And then, of course, you've got the ultimate eraser, which is Travis Kelce. And it doesn't matter how bad the Chiefs' wide receiver room looks at times, there's Travis Kelce. But maybe Hall and I probably will regret all this and have it come back to bite me and freezing cold takes expose me. Kelce showed some regression last year. I mean, just look at the numbers. Yards, way down. Receptions, down. Average, down. Touchdowns, way down. So there was some regression from Travis Kelce as maybe Father Time is creeping in a little bit. Maybe he's focusing elsewhere and not related to football as much. So I finally feel like this could be the year where ultimately Patrick Mahomes, who has put this team on his back offensively for the last 2+ seasons, goes, I'm out of gas a little bit. And out of gas for Patrick Mahomes doesn't mean like they have a 9-8 season. No, it just means they don't win the Super Bowl. Like that's really what the bar is for New England, for Kansas City, where I feel like without the help at wide receiver and Kelce starting to show some age elements to his game, maybe they just don't win the Super Bowl for once. So that's my hot take right there for the Chiefs and my superlative. For the Chargers, most likely to lose on a missed field goal in the playoffs. Harbaugh may be in charge, but that doesn't mean he can just erase the complete stink and overall bad luck that follows the LA Chargers. Not a hot take, but a warm take. I think Jim Harbaugh turns it around real fast in LA. That's probably not what you wanted to hear, but he's got really good pieces to work with, right? Most importantly, he's got a top 10 quarterback in Justin Herbert. He's got his pieces where he wants them. Left tackle, Rashawn Slater. First-round pick, Joe Alt at right tackle. On the trenches on the other side of the football, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. In the secondary, Asante Samuel. You look at what he had at Michigan to be so successful in the trenches and then in the defensive back department. And he's got that in LA. And then, of course, there is just the overall historic element of look where Jim Harbaugh has been and how he has dramatically improved the team the moment he got there. Took a 1-11 Stanford team to, 4-8, nothing crazy. Took a 6-10 49ers team to the NFC Championship game in his first season. Took a broken Michigan program, 5-7, to 10-3 in his first year. But ultimately, this is not a Chargers show. And this right here, this is going to be the face that we all see in January when the Chargers inevitably miss a relatively short field goal to win the game, and Jim Harbaugh is in disbelief and blasts his kicker into the sun moments after the game ends. So for me, I've got the Chargers going down as most likely to lose on a field goal in the playoffs. I do think the Chargers are a playoff team in year one under Harbaugh, but I don't think they're a winning playoff team in year one. Now, before we look at the Broncos superlative, which I'm super excited to share with you guys, if you want to get your hands on a Bo Nix jersey, that's a t-shirt jersey, a lot cheaper, 25% off right now. Go to chatsports.com/Nix shirt. There's nothing better than having some new gear in the closet, especially when it's for the brand new quarterback. So get your hands on this Bo Nix t-shirt jersey. I put the link for you all in the comments and description of today's video. For the Broncos, I give them the award most likely to learn the growing pains of a rookie quarterback. This is a franchise that doesn't know very well what it's like to have a rookie quarterback. Sure, you've had your Drew Locks and Paxton Lynches, but neither one stuck for long, or most importantly, played a lot in their rookie season. In fact, take a stroll down memory lane with me. The last time Denver took a quarterback in the first 12 picks of the draft was Jay Cutler back in 2006. The last time a rookie quarterback started week 1 was John Elway after he was traded over to Denver following the draft. The last time a rookie quarterback for the Broncos started the entire season? Never. They've never had a rookie quarterback start the entire year. In fact, they've never had a rookie quarterback start more than 8 games in a season since John Elway did in 1983. This is a fan base that has not had to watch a lot of rookie quarterback play. 5 games from Drew Lock, games from Jay Cutler, 6 games from Cutler, whatever it was. Like, sure, there's been some doses, but I mean, just look what history says here. I looked at every single franchise and the amount of starts by a rookie quarterback since 1950, combining all the quarterbacks. And the Broncos are 30th, only having a total of 40 starts by a rookie quarterback. Compared to the Rams, who have been a lot of different teams, St. Louis, LA, and whatnot, but they've had 140 starts made by rookie quarterbacks. And you can see Denver, this is just not a fan base that has had to watch this show a lot. Only ahead of the Saints and the Chiefs, who have had a long history of like a guy like Drew Brees, for example, sitting in there for a very long time and the team not having to go through a quarterback carousel. Now, if you want to take it one step further, how about starts by a round 1 rookie quarterback since 1950? When you narrow it down a little bit, you do get the Broncos moving towards the middle a little bit more, but still in the back half, ranking 23rd with only 24 starts by all rookie quarterbacks selected in round 1 since 1950. And by the way, the Commanders coming in at number 1 with 63, followed by the Jags and the Browns. So if you're looking for some good trivia, I really enjoyed making this. I was surprised to see the Raiders with just 2. I mean, they A, haven't drafted a lot of round 1 quarterbacks, and B, haven't made a lot of starts. One of them was Jamarcus Russell. But talking about Bo Nix and him being the growing pain that we're all talking about right now, the pro I've got for Bo Nix in year 1 is he's got a good offensive line. I almost want to go as far to say a great offensive line, but I need Mike McGlinchey to actually look at least anything like the near $90 million contract he signed. If Mike McGlinchey does, you got 2 great tackles in Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey. You got 2 above average / one's a Pro Bowl guard in Quinn Miners and Ben Powers. And then you got a ginormous question mark at center. And that's really tanking the average for the 5 of them. But I'll still say this is a good offensive line. I think if you're ranking it 1 through 32, it probably falls somewhere between 12 and 18. Con, Bo Nix has a shaky wide receiver room. Courtland Sutton comes off a 10-touchdown season, but a lot of that was a product of the way Russell Wilson wanted to play the game. And I don't think we're going to see many similarities at all compared to how Bo Nix wants to play. So can Sutton be a receiver where Nix finds in short intermediate routes on quick passes? We'll have to wait and see. Can Marvin Mims take a big step forward in year 2? Can Josh Reynolds be a wide receiver 3 that contributes 600 yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns? Like, there's a lot of like what ifs in that sentence right there, and I got to see it come through. So for now, it's a bit shaky and unproven a little bit. Pro, Bo Nix has a committee running back room. He does not have a bell cow back to lean back on, but he does have a good plethora of backs behind him. Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Jaleel McLaughlin, rookie running back Audric Estime. Like, none of those guys might jump out to you as someone that finishes top 5, maybe even top 10 in rushing. But I still think as a committee, they can get the job done and be serviceable and not be a complete train wreck like the Raiders were for much of last year, or the Buccaneers, or the Rams until they got Kyron Williams going. Con may not be the best committee. And I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, but if Javonte Williams doesn't kind of break out a little bit, we're looking at the Broncos' leading rusher being a 750-ish yard guy. And when you've got 3 other backs back there, as a group, they can kind of get it done, but it may not be a committee that lives up to at least the expectations I have for them. So I'm kind of hedging my bets here. A little bit cowardish, I know, but I think it's going to be a good committee. I think Javonte Williams will have a good season. But those are just my own predictions. And if he doesn't, it's going to be tough sledding in the run department. Now, how many touchdowns for Bo Nix in 2024? Get your predictions in down below. Go to chatsports.com/NixShirt if you want to get that Bo Nix t-shirt like we mentioned. But I'm going to go with Bo Nix throwing 18 touchdowns. I'll go 17 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to start all 17 games. Like, I keep going back and forth, sip, snap, Michael Scott, about whether or not it's Jarrett Stidham or Bo Nix to open up the year. But put me down for 17 touchdowns for Bo Nix in year 1. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. I hope you enjoyed our episode. If you did, consider subscribing. Make sure to like the video as well. Leave a comment. Share it with a friend. And we will catch up later.